Welcome back to SaltPod, your dedicated deep dive into the vibrant world of SaltCON and the incredible community that makes it tick. If you're new here, SaltPod is your backstage pass, your insider scoop, your direct line to all things SaltCON. SaltCON is the biggest tabletop gaming convention in the Mountain West. We're here to explore the amazing games, fantastic people, and the unforgettable experiences that make SaltCON a must-attend event year after year. Get ready to level up your excitement as we dip into our next episode.
That's right. So welcome, gamers. If you're a board gamer, a social gamer, someone who loves RPGs, or just really sweet swag, SaltCON is definitely the place for you. And in this episode, we are going to review the great things that happened at SaltCON Summer, which happened June 6th through the 8th. And what a weekend it was at the Davis Convention Center in Layton, Utah. The first summer event is the smallest of the events, and it really is.
Yep.
You feel that way. There's a little bit of a juxtaposition when you go in and you have that big 4-day convention that is SaltCON Spring, and then it's like SaltCON Summer, and you're like, oh, something's changed.
Yeah, something's a little bit different.
The same. But it all does take place there at the Davis Convention Center.
A more intimate gaming convention, I think. I mean, intimate, there's still 900 people, right? I mean, we're saying it's the smallest SaltCON event. It does not mean that it's small.
No, all of the same events that you would experience from the full convention are still there, and it is just as jam-packed, full of options and fun.
Yes, yeah, all the same things you'll find at the spring. Well, almost all the same things you'll find at the spring, you will find at both the summer events. But this one is just a little bit smaller. It still packs in all that excitement to the core.
Absolutely. So let's dive in here, Nathan. A little bit of a review. It was an awesome weekend for most people. It started off as an awesome weekend for me.
Yes, it
and
did.
About 6 o'clock Saturday night, my gallbladder decided that it did not like me anymore, and so I had to go and evict it.
Yeah.
And that is a story for another day. But I rushed out and went and had surgery that night. So
yeah.
I wish that I could have stayed for the full convention, but what I did see was really awesome. And let's maybe start with the vendor halls. Unlike SaltCON Spring, where they get one of the entire rooms to themselves, this is just in the hallway, but it's no less impressive with some of the stuff that they have on display and some of the things that are there. Some fantastic vendors that come and set up and show up, and it is so fun to just go walk those halls. I always see way more things than I can afford to buy. And I will say one of the highlights for me this year, I did see there was one of the vendors, and this could have been around before, and I just didn't notice it until this time. But they had really cool, like the hairpins, like to hold your hair in place, like the kind of long like needles. I don't know much about it. It looked like the long crochet needle kind of thing.
You and I don't have very much long hair.
I don't have enough hair to worry about this kind of thing. But they had those hairpins, but they were swords or like big axes.
Oh, nice.
Kind of thing. So,
I missed that.
Yeah, and they were cool. They were metal, but they were kind of a lightweight sort of thing. So, but they looked really, really cool. And I totally wanted to get some for my daughters, and I probably will next time.
Oh, yeah.
But that was one that really stood out to me. They've got all kinds of stuff up and down that hall. It's super fun to just peruse.
There's books. There was the Fiction Mobile that had a ton of books. It was funny. Andy's daughter, Amara, was perusing that, and she's like, well, I think I'll buy this book for Sierra when she comes back from Arizona. And pretty soon you see Amara reading this book in the corner. She was totally using that as an excuse to buy herself a book. Yeah,
no, I'm totally going to buy this for a friend.
Yeah.
It's not for me, it's for a friend.
Asking for a friend, yeah. A wide variety of different books, and all kind of in that fantasy theme, though very nice. There was always the dice creators there that have, you have heavy duty metal dice to very nice looking colored dice of all varieties and all sorts of containers. There was one person that had they called it a life potion, and it was full of a set of red dice, and then they had a mana potion that was full of blue dice.
Nice.
And a life potion that was full of green dice, and just some nice touches that to help augment and amplify your table presence.
100%.
And there was even something that was new this year that hadn't been there in the past is 4XP Gaming. which was a drink, right? They had powders.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I saw that.
They had a really cool sign that was one of those signs. It's a fan, and then they had not neon, but LED projections that had animated signs on it. But they have 3 different varieties of gaming drinks that are not caffeine heavy, but they're light caffeine drinks that provide a lot of energy. There is white gummy, blue raspberry, and watermelon. Their byline is game smarter, focus harder, and crash never. So not a heavy caffeine drink that's going to give you the high and crash. Something that's hopefully going to sustain you as you go through your whole gaming night.
Something to replenish your health, your mana, and your spirit.
Exactly. Yeah. They did that very well. Their setup was really nice. They had little samples that you could have. Looked at that. I thought that was very clever.
And go look this up. This is 4XP Gaming drink because this is, I don't know if you mentioned this, but this is a mix. So it's not, you're not buying this in like a pressurized, like carbonized can or something like that. This is a drink mix, which I think is awesome because it makes it easy for them to ship. So you can go pick up a couple flavors, see what you think.
And then there was Binary Cocoa. Has some unique abstract games. Mondrain, all these are abstract games that you're using, you're stacking tiles on top of other things. They have wrestling cubes, and then a couple other abstract games, bull rings, frog chess, J-Cat walkers, all sorts of little fun little games that are both creative and have some challenge and simple to play. So this was a great place to get some of those games. Mondrain has been around for several SaltCON conventions. In fact, they were a 2020 Ion Award finalist. That I've seen people playing them for the last 5 years.
Yeah,
clever
little game. Yep.
Dave and Tammy Bremer have it. Sierra,
my daughter bought a copy.
Yeah, very simple but thought out game. Great, and they have some other games at their website. I would totally suggest going over there and checking those out. And then there was a couple local game stores. But yeah, all sorts of fun vendors that were there. So there was stuff to look at, stuff to acquire. Whether you're an RPG player or a board gamer, there was something for you.
Fantastic. Moving on, let's talk about hot games, because I know you had made some suggestions and they were putting this all together and stuff, but they had some really good hot games there this year. They had Andromeda's Edge, Cat Blues, The Big Gig, Creature Caravan, Critter Kitchen, Finspan, House of Fado, SETI, and Slay the Spire.
Yeah, and we played several of these games. I really liked Andromeda's Edge. You didn't get a chance to play that one.
I haven't played that one yet, but it's definitely on my list. I want to play that one. Yep.
Creature Caverns, I have that. Critter Kitchen was one that Will Day was really excited, told us about, thought that was really good. SETI was a game we all really enjoyed.
Yeah, SETI's fantastic.
Slay the Spire is another fantastic game. Yep. Didn't get a chance to try, I was going to say Blues Clues.
Blues, not Blues Clues.
Cat Blues.
Wow. Yeah, and I don't know much about House of Fado, but we did play Finspan.
Yeah, we did play Finspan.
Finspan's great.
Yep. They had 41 play-to-win games.
Nice.
So this is a shelf that you can go and you can check out these games. You can sit down, read the rules, have a chance to play it, and then everybody that you played it with or the group that you were with will take their badge back when you check the game in, and everybody will be entered in to win that game. And so you have the opportunity to check out several games and look at them and give them a try and say, okay, you know what, this is a game that I liked. Even if you just check it out and you read the rules and you say, okay, this is something that I want to check out and play later. It's a great opportunity for those. And they had a wide scope of games, from easier to play games to some heavier games.
Yeah.
Australis was one that looked really good. I checked that one out. Coup is a real simple game. Seems like there's always coup there. Doomlings played just previously. Flip 7, which turned out to wasn't one of the hot games that I suggested, but it did turn out to be one of the Spiel des Jahres nominees. So that was an excellent game. Nice. Hamlet, which kind of surprised me. This is a Kickstarter that I had. I have, and you had at one point.
Yeah, we played this one, and it was it was good, but it wasn't one of those that's like, ooh, let's get that back to the table soon. It was good.
Yeah.
That was about, I think, the splash it made.
Yep.
Good game. Put it on the shelf.
Yeah. Jewel is a great game. Little simple bug collecting games. I got the chance to play that with Amara while we were there. Kites is one that I thought I owned, but I don't, is one that I'd like to give a try.
A game you don't own?
Yeah. No, there's quite a bit of them. Kinfire Delve is one that I also wanted to try. I do own that one, so we have the chance to give that a try. One that was actually a lot of fun to play was Moon Colony Bloodbath. This was a very interesting game. You're sending your...
Did you guys get to play this?
We did, yeah. Yeah, Brent Mayer.
I totally want to play this one.
Yeah, this one is one that I think I'm going to look up and try to find. You have colonists that you're trying to survive. And you have robots, and unfortunately, these helper robots are more like Terminators, right?
It has bloodbath in the name.
In the name, yeah. Raja of the Ganges, Cards and Karma, which is a roll and write game, one that I actually own. Richie was really hoping to win that one. Sears Catalog, which is a game that we've played since. That was a ton of fun. Newer edition of Takedo, which I really enjoy Takedo. You and I have played that several times together.
Yeah, I don't think much changed with the Stonerise production, right?
The art is just updated
just a little
bit.
different. Okay. Yeah, I still have my older copy. But.
And Wondrous Creatures is one that I checked out, perused the rules, and was actually one I won.
Oh, you really?
Yeah, so nice. I won Wondrous Creatures. We're going to get a chance to get that to the table.
That's fantastic.
And Woodcraft was another great game that would have been nice to pick up as too.
If I had time, I would have gone and checked out the new Queen by Midnight game, the Quarter Past.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just curious about it. You know, Queen by Midnight was one that I just had such high hopes for.
Yeah, you and I still kind of enjoyed it. But.
Yeah, and I did, but it was too take thatty for other people, and I was like, who am I going to play it with? You know what I mean? So it ended up leaving my collection, but I'm curious if this Quarter Past fixed some of those things. You can combine it, or you can play it on its own. So it's one of those expansion. It's a standalone expansion, which is, I think, becoming a little more. I'm seeing more and more of those. Standalone expansions kind of thing happening. But I think there's some wisdom to that, but I'd be curious. Anyway, really fun. I did not win any games, but I'm glad that you did. I never win any games. I always check out a few on the play to win shelf, and my luck is just not that great.
Yeah, well, and you have to remember to go check the list, right? Because they post the list, and if you don't come claim your game within a half an hour, they redistribute the games out. And so they have a whole process that they try to go do that as streamlined as possible.
Nice.
And, so it was, there's always great games there. My daughter actually, Draft and Write Records was a game that she thoroughly loves. And so she checked it out. And I think she was like one of 3 people that checked it out, which is unfortunate because it is a great game.
Yeah, it's really good.
And she did win that. So she was way excited to add that to her collection.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So it's just some great games there. Not all of them are outstanding games. Not all of them are SETI. SETI wasn't any of them, but there were some really good games in there. And I'm excited to look at the one I won to get it to the table. I mean, I looked at it while I was there, and it looks interesting, but I'm excited to get it to the table and give it a try. This is a big section of SaltCON, and RPGs have probably more pull.
They're taking over.
Yeah, they had 178 RPG events. And total with the board games, there was 47 non-Meeple Nation events and 34 Meeple Nation. And there was 34 Meeple Nation events. So a total of 70-something events.
81 by my math.
81 events, board game events, compared to 178 RPG events.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that is a big draw. I actually had a coworker who went to his first SaltCon, and I He sits right next to me, and he never said anything to me, but I saw him every once in a while looking at the SaltCon. He looked in spring, and then he decided he was going to go in for the summer event. So he had a ton of fun. It was a little too much social for him, so he didn't make it to his full day, but he really enjoyed what he experienced.
Good.
And so they had several multi-table events. These are really cool. So everybody is participating in the same campaign. Pathfinder Society Salt of the Ocean multi-table event. So the byline that they had for it, the Eye of Bendigo. The storm has receded just enough to reveal two particularly interesting new sights. One is a wrecked Pathfinder ship, and the other an ancient island associated with the Prophecyers and demons. With some help from your old pirate friends, the Pathfinders kitted up in order to investigate the two new occurrences. However, it seems like she wasn't the only pirate with her eye on this strange new prize. The Society will have to face the dangers of the sea and storm as they sail to their goal, hoping to beat their rivals to the hidden secrets. So this is great that you have different pirates that are all trying to go for the same goal, and I think this would have really been fun to participate in, as you're trying to, each group individually is trying to go against common goals, and to see how they do against the general enemy in that. So there was also the D&D Adventure League, which was Hold Back the Undead. This was also a multi-table event where there was a numerous horde of undead coming at them, and so each table had to fight to defend off and try to figure out where all the undead were coming and stop that, and to hold back the undead swarm. And then something new that they did is they had play testers for RPG systems, new RPG systems. Some of them were Untold RPG and Nephilim, the Forsaken. And so both of these were brought in by local game designers. You're going to see more of these at SaltCon end of summer. They're hoping to have a stronger focus on some prototype systems. And so if you're a prototype game master, you have an RPG that you're wanting to test, come check out the SaltCon end of summer.
Very cool. Yeah.
And get that in front of some players.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, if Pathfinder and D&D isn't totally your jam, if that's not kind of your thing, they had a ton of other really popular RPG systems. I mean, I know we had kind of already mentioned that, but just to name a few, they had the Cyberpunk Red, they had Shadow Dark, they had Call of Cthulhu, which is one I would really like to get into. They had Shadowrun, which is one Andy loves that one and raves about it. Vampire the Masquerade, which on its surface doesn't seem like my thing, but I've heard really good things. Yeah, and we've got that new Taburu board game that we need to play. Yes. So I'm actually curious about that. The Electric State, Nimble 2, Dragonbane. They had a ton of others. BioWare IPs that are out there, and Fallout, and a bunch that are based on other IPs that were all there, and we're running sessions. So it's a great place to be if you love your RPGs and want to go make some friends. And there's a lot of events, more so than the board game events. Well, at least for that one. I don't think that was true for spring. I think spring had more board game than RPG events. Well, there was a lot of tournaments as well. And summer, there was only one tournament, and it was the Sabak tournament. Yeah. So Max Holiday ran that, and they had printed off some 3D printed, some very nice containers and tokens that they used for currency. Had a great time. I didn't get quite the feedback I was hoping to get for this, but sounds like the event ran well. Yeah. They might not have been able to see it to its completion, but everybody had fun. Yeah, I didn't hear about winners or anything, but when I talked to Max afterward, he said that it was just a ton of fun, that everyone had an absolute blast, and that it ran smoothly, that everyone was really engaged in it and had a good time. So sounds like that was a successful endeavor for him. And we talked about this last episode, that this new murder mystery, Groomed for Murder,
which was a pet groomer, and one of the pet groomers is the murderer, and so the group had to deduce that information, and this was a big hit. And so if you missed out on that, which I did, and I was really kind of hoping to participate in that, it will return at end of summer with the possible addition of a different one of these group murder mystery type things called Grilled to Death.
Nice.
And so this sounds like something Andy should totally sign up for.
I think we should make him. We should just sign up for him.
We should and make him go there.
Make him go.
Yeah, tell him he's got an appointment.
We've got a surprise for you.
Teach You, Danny Naylord ran a Teach You event. And
Teach You Around with Danny.
Yes, Teach You Around with Danny. And it was a great event. There was a lot of attendees that were there for the first time. And Teach You is a game that I know several of these guys, Sam, Danny, Brent, have played Teach You for years and years. And I've kind of just watched from the sidelines. And I was never one of the cool kids that got invited to play Teach You. Not that they excluded me, but they all had their teams. Opportunity to learn Teach You. And Danny said it was a ton of fun, where there was many surprising outcomes, where people thought they had everything nailed down, cinch in the bag, and then the hands totally turned. And it was great. Everybody had a ton of fun, and so he's possibly gonna try to do that again.
That is awesome. Very, very cool. Well, the events didn't end there. They also ran Nebula, which was the 4X inspired big group game. And I don't know how that went, but that sounds really cool. They did Blood on the Clock Tower, which I know is gaining in popularity. I think for
surging.
Yeah, I think people are really like. I might have to get in on a game of that at some point just to see kind of what the buzz is there, because that one is really growing in popularity. In fact, to the extent that I think they even had like a how to play event.
Yeah,
one event was just to teach you how to play, and then they had multiple actual sessions of Blood on the Clock Tower,
which I think was a really good idea.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Love that. That's fantastic. And then of course they had the mini painting seminar, which is always a hit.
Always a hit.
And if you ever want to go improve your painting skills, it's a great place to be. So that brings us to what's next, Nathan?
What is next?
Yeah. Tell us about it.
So SaltCON end of summer coming up in just 2 short months, the end of August. It is August 29th through the 31st. This is a larger, not quite the size of spring, but still this is your medium SaltCON event that's at the Davis Conference Center over Labor Day weekend. They're going to have all the same things that you're used to seeing. They're going to have a game library. They're going to have an RPG area. They're going to have new hot games. This one will have the no ship math trade.
Excellent.
And there'll be the game swap, the flea market. There'll be figure painting. There'll be vendors again. And there's still reserve tables. If you want to have a reserve spot that is just for you, at the time we're recording this, there's 4 reserve tables left. From this point, end of summer, we will close the books on the Davis Conference Center and start looking forward to 2026.
Starting it off the right way with BryceCon.
With BryceCon.
Or Bryce twice.
Or Bryce twice. But I got something exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited about this for sure.
So, starting in 2026, there will be an additional SaltCON event. So this is limited to, currently they're limiting it to 100 people. Okay,
so just to recap really quick, because I want to participate in the build-up to this announcement. So this is the 6th. Did you hear that right?
Dear
listener, the 6th SaltCON event for the year. So we've already got spring. Well, technically, if you start at the beginning of the year, you've got Bryce twice, spring, summer, and end of summer. So what could they be adding, Nathan?
You know what? We live in Utah, so why not add a cruise?
I love it.
Yes. So the first inauguratory, is that the right word?
I think so. Close enough.
First inauguratory SaltCON cruise.
I love this.
So yeah, I really want to try to, and I don't want to really try, I really want to go on this.
Yeah.
I got to try to convince my wife that this is something she wants to do. We have another big trip planned in 2026, so I don't know if we can do them both. I'd rather do this one, but I don't need to spend time with my kids. I'd rather spend
Bring them
time.
along. Come on.
That would be great. They would actually love that, I think.
I think they would.
Yeah, but this is August 7th through the 14th, departing from Seattle, Washington, heading on up to Costco.
To Costco. Wow, that was amazing. The coast of Alaska?
Heading up the coast of Alaska, and then coming right back to Seattle in 7 days. So this is, again, there's 100 spots that are available. So when this gets released, June 30th, the official announcement should hit from SaltCon on July 1st. So if you're listening to this,
Ooh, sneak peek.
Sneak peek.
You are so lucky.
Yes. Otherwise, the announcement's going to happen July 1st. And then within that first week of July, those spots will open up. And so the package will include your room, all the taxes, and gratuity. You will still need to add $150 for your SaltCon ticket. If you have a spouse or a partner that you're going with that doesn't want to play games, SaltCon still needs to know so that they can, so that space is allotted for those rooms that they've let. And so there's a $10 ticket that you need to get, even if you're not participating.
For the non-participants you're bringing along.
Yep.
Excellent.
And so there's some room blocks there. There's some inside, outside, upside down site or suites. And
does it have to be paid in full up front? Yeah, I'm curious about this because people are going to want to know what is the commitment level you have to have right now.
All the information should be available on Tabletop events. And like I said, that should be available the first week of July. And it has pricing there, the policy review, interior rooms, ocean view rooms, and balcony rooms. Prices adjust accordingly. Attendees that are 13 years or above, $150 for that ticket. 4 to 12, $75. Non-gamer members, $10. The price will include taxes, fees, port expenses, gratuity. Booking directly with Royal Caribbean is not allowed. You have to go through this link to get your tickets.
Right. You have to sign up for this sort of the SaltCon block.
Yes.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yep. The badge benefit includes complimentary welcome, farewell reception, group dining, optional group show or excursions, options to purchase port transfers, travel protection.
Interesting. So we don't necessarily know exactly what the down payment amount will be. All right. Well, that is some super exciting news and definitely something I'm going to check out and possibly go sign up for. I know my wife is on board. I'm really just kind of waiting for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you to make a decision. I'm waiting to see if Andy wants to go and who all is going to be in attendance because as much as I absolutely am all about this, I don't want to go do it without friends.
Yeah. I know Greg is very interested. Brad is very interested. I don't know how interested Andy is. I personally would be all on board with this. But yeah, so that's something to look forward to. August 2026.
Fantastic.
So if you have any questions, feel free to email us at meeplenation@gmail.com. If it is SaltCon cruise related, I would go ahead and direct those to the SaltCon Facebook group and get those questions answered there. After the official announcement, after they're more prepared to answer those.
Yeah, don't start flooding their inboxes the night of the 30th.
Yes, yeah.
Wait for the official announcement, folks.
Allow us to be able to get this information again next time so that we can share it a little early. But we are always excited to hear about new games, new exciting events, and great times. And with that, we have compiled another deep dive into all the salty goodness of SaltCon. We hope you are as excited as we are for all the fun and games. Remember, SaltPod is your ongoing connection to these amazing events, but the board game adventure doesn't start here. If you love in-depth discussions...
Doesn't stop here.
But the board game...
It doesn't start here. We don't start it. We didn't start the fire.
But the board gaming adventure doesn't stop here. If you love in-depth discussion, diverse perspectives, and talking about all things board all things board gaming, be sure to check out our regular podcast, Meeple Nation. We have episodes serving up fantastic content week after week. So until next time, keep rolling those dice, and we'll see you at SaltCON. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.